said even Pulse Asia says they've never seen numbers like 60%.
Yes.
Not that of Duterte, and ERAP was at 50 plus.
Yes. So it's actually part of the historical irony that the possible first majority president in the post-Marcos era would be a Marcos. No? So it's apparent that since September of last year, Bongbong Marcos has benefited the most from the withdrawal of Sara Duterte and Bongo, and has built quite a formidable and unprecedented lead over the pack.
And why do you think are Mr. Marcos's numbers this big?
Well, it's actually not a surprise. No? He has been on a continuous campaign mode since he was elected senator in 2010, no? Particularly with social media and even persistent historical revisionism. No? His vice presidential run was actually just a test run, no? For his ultimate endgame, which is this year's presidential election. So just like his father, no, he rebranded himself, and he's currently running like the democratic Marcos of 1965, no, and not the failed dictator of 1986. So if you notice, no, even the way he speaks, the way he gesticulates, no, and articulate, it's simply a throwback to the early Marcos of 1965.
Yeah, but you're talking about, the age group of, for example, yourself, who's actually, you must have been an adult already during Marcos's time. Now, let's be serious here.
Yeah,
I'm 51 years old. During Marcos's time, I was a toddler. But of course, as a journalist, I've known history quite, in a more personal way, right? But his voters are across the board. That's what Pulse Asia said. You have 18-year-olds that are going for him, 20-year-olds going for him. I wanted to ask you, are we moving way too back, or what about the argument I've been hearing that it goes to prove he really won in 2016? Because many people have asked me, where are the vice president's voters if she really won? I've also heard those people asking.
Yes, of course. First of all, regarding our generation, I'd just like to say that for the first 21 years of my life, I've known no other president but Marcos. No? So I was in elementary when they were playing Bagong Lipunan game. So, and then I was part of the EDSA generation. No? So, but then again, there are other factors to consider. If you look at it from the perspective of politics and history. So there's a natural cycle. If you look at our nation's political history, that every 30 years, if the system doesn't address some of the fundamental issues and problems in society, there's a tendency to break down. So in case in point, Marcos took advantage of the weakness of the post-republic, which was already reaching its third decade around the time he declared martial law, and he established his own authoritarian regime. But after 20 plus years of his regime, of his rule, there was a breakdown, and we saw the rise of the Marcos post-EDSA regime. So the question is it right now for a repudiation of the EDSA regime? So are we seeing now the return? So are we just going through this vicious cycle of seeing now the same family that was thrown out in 1986, and now they're making a comeback? And of course, there are other.
But isn't it also fair to say that the reason it's 60 is because, well, a few things. Number one, in the last survey, when Sara Duterte was in the race, you did have Sara Duterte at number 1 and Marcos at a close number 2. So is it because, frankly, the 60% is because of, unity, right? So closing in both bases.
Yes, precisely, because